Hello class and welcome to our fourth lecture series on microeconomics, and I'm your instructor, Dr. Jamal. Okay, so we were discussing the market power of or market force of supply, and then we talk about the equilibrium, and then we talk about excess supply or surplus or excess demand or shortage, and then we did some examples as well. So I gave you this after class activity, so many of you already sent it, but still some students having some ambiguity, so let's just do that. So what is market? If I ask you what is market graphically market is, this is supply curve, this is demand, so this is the market. Okay, so let's start the question. So the market for pizza, so this is pizza market. So demand for pizza, supply for pizza, right? Here is the price of pizza and here is the quantity of pizza. So which point we have equilibrium? So without even looking at the curve, you can easily find out that the equilibrium point would be here. Why? Because equilibrium point is that point on which quantity supplied is equal to quantity demanded. So here one 81, right? And the price is fixed. So which one is equilibrium price? Equilibrium price is, which is fixed, and equilibrium quantity QE, which is equal to 81. So that is the graph for A part. B part, if the actual price in the market were above the equilibrium price, it means we are talking about this segment, above the equilibrium price. Equilibrium price is 6. So what happened here? So you see here, quantity demanded is less than quantity supplied, less than quantity supplied, less than quantity supplied, which means if actual,
increase the supply, so produce more.
No. What is the condition here? Quantity supplied greater than quantity demanded. What we call this?
Sorry, it's a surplus.
Equilibrium.
No.
No, that's a surplus. I mean, you have to decrease the quantity supplied.
Yes, excess supply or surplus, right? So what would drive the market towards equilibrium? So what happened after that? If price is above the equilibrium price, here, let me change the color. Supply is greater than demand. What happened? Because eventually everything is back to equilibrium. What happened? You derive from the market that the price in future will go back to equilibrium. And why this happened? Because when market price started decreasing, the suppliers started decreasing their supply until it goes to equilibrium. So this triangle chart here is called surplus, right? Now C part is if the actual price in the market is below the equilibrium price, this part. So what you see here, quantity demanded is greater than quantity supplied. Quantity demanded is greater than quantity supplied, right? If the market price is here, this market price is, this is market price B part. if the market price is here, you see quantity demanded is greater than quantity supplied. What do we call this? Shortage, right? So what happened when shortage occurred? Right now price is, for example, 4. What will happen in the market? The market forces will push the market price towards equilibrium until we go back to equilibrium price. So this triangle here is called shortage. And if you see here, price is gradually increasing. So are we clear about this question?
Yes.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, any more questions? No? Okay, let's talk about the law of demand and supply together. The law of supply and demand together basically claims that the price of any good adjusts to bring the quantity supplied and quantity demanded for that good into equilibrium or balance. So it means in previous example we saw that equilibrium is here, right? Everything is pushing back, market forces are pushing back the price and quantity towards equilibrium. So this is the case of movement along the curve. You see, we are just moving on the same, you can say that same curves. We don't have to draw a new curve. But what if demand and supply shifted? In that case, we have a new equilibrium, right? But that doesn't mean that market is not in equilibrium. Market is in equilibrium, but new equilibrium. So that's why we are seeing now one step ahead, law of supply and demand together. So previous example just adjusted for movement along the curve. But this law states that whatsoever right now the condition of the market will move back towards equilibrium. Whether this is a case of shift or this is a case of movement, you need to find out the new equilibrium. So it means that doesn't mean we have a fixed equilibrium and rest of the world or rest of the years we have the same equilibrium. No, equilibrium changes. So let's find out. So there are 3-step process to find out new equilibrium. Law of supply altogether. Number 1, decide any event that occurred, whether this is a case of demand or supply. Whether the case is for demand or supply. Number 2, find out the directions, whether it is increase or decrease, right? Which direction, rightward, leftward? First, belong to supply or demand, right? Movement along the curve or shift. Which curve is going to be shifted or which curve is going to be affected by the event? Number 2, find out the direction. Increase means shift to the right. Decrease means shift to the left. And third, where they cross each other, find out new equilibrium. That's it. 3-step process. Right? If you don't understand, let's do it by example. But remember this, there are some hints. And that hints are, if the question mentioned that there is a change in supply and the word is only supply, which means we have a new curve. We have to make a new curve, either shift to the right or either shift to the left, right? And if the question says there is a change in quantity demanded, the word quantity is added, then we say that this is a movement case, right? So when the question says there is a change in supply or there is a change in demand, which means automatically assume that we are talking about shift in demand curve. If the question mentioned that there is a change in quantity demanded, quantity supplied, which means we're talking about movement along the curve. Same principle applies to demand curve as well. If we're talking about the change in demand, assume that we're talking about shift. If we're talking about change in quantity demanded, we're talking about movement in the demand curve. So let's talk about the example here. So this is the market right now on equilibrium. Equilibrium quantity is 7. Equilibrium price is 2. Now what happened? We have equilibrium here. Now what happened? Hot weather increases the demand for ice cream. So this belongs to what? Supply or demand? Guys, I need your participation. Guys, are you here?
Yes.
So hot weather increases the demand for ice cream. We just talk about here. Change in only demand. So there is no word quantity here, which means we're talking about shift. But this event belongs to demand or supply. The question itself says demand. So demand increase when shift to the
right.
To the right. Well done. So this is the demand curve. So demand curve shift to the, you see demand curve shift to the, so what is the new equilibrium? Three-step process. Find out whether this is a case of demand or supply, shift or movement, find out direction, and third, find out new equilibrium. So we find out this is a case of demand, shift to the right, and we have a new equilibrium, E2. Now what happened to the market price? Market price, equilibrium price is now increased. What happened to the quantity? That is the equilibrium quantity, previous one, and that is the equilibrium quantity 2. Quantity answer. What is the result here? The result you must write it down. Result is, if I write down only P, it means equilibrium price. Price, equilibrium, new, increase, price, quantity also increase. Due to this event, what happened in the market? Price also increase and quantity, equilibrium quantity also increase. Because of this demand curve, price increase causes supplier to produce